Rise and Shine webinar, and our topic today is Become a Leader par Excellence. And you will recall, most of you, that last week we had another seminar which was entitled The Infallible Success Formula, and that went very well. We had 9,600 live viewers, or almost 10,000, and as of now, that has risen to nearly 30,000 viewers over the last 1 week. And as a result, the followers of the Rise and Shine page, or my page, has moved now from 11,000 Monday last week to now nearly 30,000 followers. So thank you for the support that you're giving us. We've been running the Rise and Shine seminars since the COVID time, 2021, 2022. And I would like to sincerely thank Revelation Nyirongo, the young man who is on the console. He's the one who developed the tool that we use to broadcast via web, the Facebook page, as well as YouTube, and sometimes even LinkedIn. So big kudos to Revelation Nyirongo. And there's more to come, so we will not stop. Next week we'll have another topic, and we'll keep growing together. So in terms of outline, we will define leadership and also who is a leader, and then we'll look at the difference between a leader and a manager, and then we also need to separate between good leaders and the bad leaders, so that we know the difference, so that we don't become bad leaders. And then we'll look at two key aspects. What do you need to do to prepare yourself to become a leader? So like the keys to leadership. And then how actually can you become a leader? So the steps you need to take in order to become a leader. And then we'll look at building high performance teams, because to be a leader, you need to lead teams. So what is leadership? There are many definitions, but it's more about the action of leading a group of people. So are you leading? It's the action of leading a group of people, or an organization, or a company, or a church, or any group of people. And it's about guiding and influencing other people toward a common vision or common goal. And I'll come to this with a story shortly, or two, to illustrate. And this entails inspiring or motivating the team. So leadership is about also inspiring people. If you want to become a leader, you should learn how to inspire people, how to motivate people, because you want people to do more. If you want people to do more, you need to inspire them. You need to give them the reason why they should do more. They should work hard. So you need to have the charisma. You need to have the ability to make people excited to work or to do things. And to do that, therefore, as a leader, that's now the bullet number 4, you must pay attention to your team, giving them support and providing guidance. So I have two examples here in terms of inspiring and motivating. We all know, or most of us do know, that Jose Mourinho was, or is, one of the biggest ever football coaches ever, and he did very well in the Premier League and other leagues across the world. I watched a documentary about 10 years ago, and the players who were interviewed, they said Mourinho is very good at inspiring his team members. He would tell his goalkeeper, you are the best goalkeeper in the world. He would tell his defender, you are the best defender in the world. By telling them that, it makes them to do their best. There was this one player they interviewed. He said that their team was losing 2-0 at halftime. And during pep talk, they expected Mourinho to shout at them, to tell them a lot of new strategies, but he did not. He went to this player whom he had benched for more than 4 months. He never had any game. Mourinho goes to him and says, I've been benching you for 4 months because I knew there's a big game that I'll need you for, and today is your day. He says, I know today when you go in there, you score 3 goals. And the gentleman went in there. Because of the inspiration from Mourinho, he indeed scored 3 goals, and they won 3-2. Because Mourinho inspired him, because he made him believe that he's the best striker. He made him believe that although he was benched for a good reason to do the deed that day. So you can see the power of motivation and inspiring your people. In fact, as a young leader then, when I watched that, I wanted to experiment that principle. I used to play social football at that time, and I was playing for the Airtel social football team, as well as the alumni of St. Patrick's Seminary, a team called Vatican Warriors. And in Blantyre at that time, we were losing at halftime. actually it was the Airtel team now, correction. It was the Airtel team. We were losing, I think it was 4-0 at halftime. And I wanted to practice the Mourinho strategy of motivating people. I'm not a good footballer at all. Actually, I'm crap, to be honest. I was just running around there. But I thought I can lead, because Mourinho himself too was not a great footballer, but he was a good coach. So at halftime, I just said, guys, because I was the patron of the team, because I was the only director there playing the game. So I said, what I want here is I want pledges for goals. We are 4 down. I want 10 goals pledged now in the second half. Just that's what I did. And one guy said I'll score 1 goal. The other one said I'll go score 3 goals. I got pledges of 14 goals. We went in there within 3 minutes. The guy who said I'll score 1 goal, he scored it. Within another 3-4 minutes, the guy who said I'll score 3 goals, he scored 1. And then he came to me and said I've scored 1, boss 2 to go. He came, he scored another one, said 1 to go, and he did it. Guess what? We won the game 7-4. The only thing that changed is that I believed in this team, and I made them pledge to me, the patron, what they'll do in the team. I cannot score, but I can inspire the people to score. So that's the power of inspiration. That's the power of motivation. And please, when you go out there, try to use this. You just make people believe that they are the best. Make them believe that you believe in them. Make them believe that they are vital and important for the cause. So this is very powerful indeed. And that's why, therefore, as a leader, it means you're a person who rules, you're a person who leads, or you command a group, like with the examples I've given there. You're a person who coaches, you inspire them, like we've talked about. But others define leader as somebody who has followers. Although this definition is very interesting, because I remember when I was a student, a member of the Catholic Student Organization at Poly, at that time I was the leader, I was the chairperson, and we organized a training workshop on leadership. And there came one of the good persons out there, and he was a leader. And he defined a leader as a person who has followers. So he raised the question, the normal debate question of, are leaders born or are they made? So are you already born a leader, or you can learn to become a leader? And the people debated, well, they're made or they're born. And my very philosophical friend, Charles Chivundu, he said, well, a leader, going by definition, that leader has followers. It means a leader cannot be born, because how can you be born already with followers? So that's just on a lighter note that you need to be careful about this definition. But anyway, now let's move on to the separation between leadership on the one hand and management. What's the difference? This is also, again, is a matter of debate. But in general, there is some overlap, but they're not exactly the same thing. So, for example, in terms of leadership, it's more proactive. It's more about, you anticipate issues, and you are trying to control things before they happen. While management is reactive. Things are broken, you want to fix it. There is a problem, you want to solve it. So management is more about being behind, after action, or being reactive. While leadership is more proactive, it's more in control. And then leadership is based on influence. We talked about how Mourinho influenced, and how I use the same one to try and get the goals in Blanda from the Airtel social football team. But management is based on rules. You must come to work at 7:30 a.m. You must knock off by 5 p.m. You cannot abscond work without telling your boss. You shall only go home when there's leave. And these are the policies. Well, leadership is influence, can even break things sometimes. So leadership also focuses on inspiring change, while management wants to keep things the way they are. So that's the difference. Management they want to keep stability. So they want to yes, Daniel Mtonga, I can hear you. Can we share the PDF for this presentation? Yes, we'll do that at the end. Revelation, let's remind ourselves to do that. So in leadership, you focus on change, but in management, you focus on keeping things as they are. So a good manager doesn't break things. He leaves things as they were. Yeah? While a leader may break things to get them better. And then leadership emphasizes on inspiring people, while management is about managing people. So it's really keeping things as they are as much as you can afford. Now let's look at the good and the bad leaders. So let's look at the good leaders first, then we'll look at the bad ones. The good leaders, they are decisive. They make a decision. They don't waste time. And this is one of the biggest problems we have in Malawi. A lot of places I've gone to, people, they will meet in January, they agree 10 things. Then come February, say, no, we need another meeting, and nothing has happened. Yeah, they meet again, and they review the 10 things. They add another 6 things. Now there are 16 actions. They come March, they don't meet April. They say, no, we need another meeting. They meet in April. Out of the 16 things, nothing has happened. We add another 2 or 4 things. It's 20 now action, and we are going on, and nobody is seeing any problem with that. But a good leader decides and acts. So if you want to be a leader par excellence, you must decide and you must act. Please, if you forget anything else, just remember that as a leader, you need to be taking the decision and you must act. Actually, what did he say? What he said is, as a leader, is that a lot of people don't make decisions because they're afraid of making the wrong decision. A good leader is not afraid of making wrong decision. Actually, research has shown that good leaders, if you make just 50% plus 1 decisions that are correct, you're a very good leader. So if out of 10 decisions that you have made, 6 of them were good, you are very good than making 0 decision. So make the decision, be ready to make wrong ones. You'll be learning with time, you get better and better, so don't be afraid to make wrong decisions. I am not afraid to make wrong decisions, but with time, the chance of making wrong decisions becomes lower and lower and lower because I learned from those mistakes. So I just want to give 2 illustrations here that the leader must be decisive or must have influence. Engineer Peter Mayere is one of my elders in the engineering fraternity that I respect a lot. Actually, I've learned a lot from him. When I was president of Malawi Student Engineers, he was one of my advisors. He was a trustee of Malawi Student Engineers because I was very young. I was a very young president of engineers in Malawi. I think I was aged 33. I was the first engineer below the age of 40 to be president. So I had to learn from the elders. And one time he shared with me a very interesting story. He says that in the 1980s, when we used to celebrate the Malawi independence at national level, and then at regional level, at district level, all the way up to the village, when they were celebrating at regional level in Blantyre, at Chichiri, people were there by 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. The dinner didn't start. And yet there was the food there, the drinks were there. B-Force, can a leader have both qualities, management and leadership? Absolutely. Actually, a good leader is the best leader is who is also a good manager. If you can be a good manager and a good leader, then you're moving. Remember I said there's the overlap. So it means some moments you'll be managing, some moments you'll be leading. So that's a very good question. Try to master both. There are moments when you're kind of controlling more, or things are broken now, you need to go into management mode. When there's a crisis, you go into management mode. You can, and at the same time, you're also leading, because management is like hands-on. So if there's a crisis, you need to have hands-on and be there. So this engineer, back to the story, Engineer Mayere says he saw that people are not drinking, food is there, drinks are there. Then he volunteered. He had no position whatsoever, but he told one person, he said, go and take a drink there. Actually, the person had asked him, are you the one who is allowing people to drink or eat? He said, yes. So he said, can I go and take my food? He said, go and get it. And then the other one saw that. He came and said, can I also go and get my drink? He said, go. Then people, seeing that he is commanding, people started coming to him little by little. He commanded the whole event there. People thought he's a leader. So you see, there are times when a person becomes a leader because there's nobody leading, and then they start leading, then they become a leader. It happens. And experiment this, but at your own risk. Don't come to me if it goes wrong. And I did experiment when I was younger. What I did was that I know sensitivities are involved, but this is, I hope I enjoy academic freedom for now. Sometimes at funerals, sometimes you have traveled from far, maybe a long way to, I don't know, maybe to Nsanje for a funeral. And they say the program is at funeral start at 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock is not starting, half 11, 12 o'clock. But you find that everybody is ready, but nobody is making people to run the program. So one time I said, let me experiment the Engineer Mayere approach. So I went, I asked the Ampingo, Makonzekera, how did you fit ready to I went to one form, Makonzekera, there's also then I went to Banja. This funeral is one of those where I'm escorting a friend of my neighbor or a neighbor of my friend, that kind of thing. Joseph Fazema, my friend, good to see that you're here. my friend. Thanks for coming. So then I saw that akubanja akonzekera, akumpingo akonzekera, onse mbali zonse zili bwino. So I went to kwa mpingo kuti akubanja kuti ali ready. Okay, ndikuti akuti zonse zikuza kuyamba. I went kwa mfumu akubanja ready, mpingo also ready. Within 5 minutes, the program started. I had no leadership whatsoever. Nobody questioned, and it happened. For me, as a young scientist then, I was experimenting. So you see, there are times where, in fact, what means is that when there's leadership vacuum, anybody can become a leader. So this is very interesting in theory. You can use it in any way, but as I said, at honors risk. So be very careful when you're using this. Number 2, a good leader is trusted. You need to be a trusted person to be a good leader. You need to empower other people, because if you empower other people, it means a lot of things will be done by other people. Remember, we talked about leading other people, delivering through others. If you don't empower them, they will not, everything work for you. But if you empower them, things are happening even when you're not there. So you do more as a team. But also a good leader is a good communicator. I'll tell you, there are people who accept that I'm not a good public speaker or I don't communicate well. No, I'm sorry, then you're not be a leader. Leadership and communication go together. Leadership, communication, I'm talking about everything. Written communication, verbal communication, talking one-to-one is part of it. Talking in groups, talking to the right group. So if you're a young person, you don't know how to speak in public, go and join Toastmasters. I have been learning public speaking for 21 years. I joined when I was young. I think I was 24, 25 years of age. You need to learn communication, but it's never too late, even if you're a bit old or my age. Learn communication at all levels: written, oral, verbal, public speaking, because a good leader must be a good communicator. How will you influence? Remember, a leader influences guides and coaches. So if you're not a good communicator, how will you guide? How will you influence? You can't delegate, say, no, go and influence those people for me. Mourinho influences on his own, so you need to have communication. And then the resilience, you meet problems, the pinjo, but you don't give up. You should not be the first one to give up. You need to be resilient, you need to be strong as a leader. Now let's look at the bad ones. Actually, it's mostly the opposites of this. They don't have a vision, you don't know where they're going. These are bad leaders. They have no empathy. They just shout at people. They want to micromanage everything you're doing. They want to be there. They don't empower. They are very poor communicators. You don't even know what they're saying. They don't want change. They resist every change. They want things. That type of people. They have a very negative mindset. Chidi Chonse, they are the headquarters of problems. Chidi Chonse, even when you go to ask for a favor from this boss or this leader, you know immediately that the answer is no. It's like they are the experts in saying. There was a company where I worked before a long time ago, and this finance person who used to say no to many requests. You'd reject requests, and he was nicknamed the rejection factory. He's a factory where he's just saying rejected. You don't want to be that. You want to have a positive mindset. You want to be transparent. So these people, they keep all the information they can't share. They're not transparent. They keep the information to themselves all the time. So if you are one person who is not sharing information, know already that you need to improve on this one. You need to become a good leader by opening up, by being transparent, and they are indecisive. They make no decision. Mubere Monday or Mubere Tuesday. Organize 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, Bakarit. Morini Kampanja, I can see you. Thank you for following us as usual. So be decisive, then you'll be a good leader. Now let's look at how you can prepare yourself to go to the top. So this one, I think I mentioned even last week that I learned this from SKC when I was living in Airtel. I talked to him to say, how can I become a CEO? And he said, number one, be humble. So a leader, doesn't matter whether it's Mfumu, Mpingo, Kutiko, you need to be humble. Because if you're humble, it means people will approach you, people will like you, because the leader must be liked. A leader must be approached. People should be able to give you feedback. So you need to humble yourself so they can give you feedback, they can add value, they can advise you, they can approach you, they can work with you. You don't want to be a person who, when you come there, everybody disappears, because you're not humble. And then number two is that for you to be a good leader, you should go beyond the call of duty, help with other people. We don't work the same way. Some people, will take a bit of time, help them. So you want to go beyond the call of duty. And then you must think strategy. How can I do this smartly? How can I do this differently? So I have an example here from SKC. When we are at Airtel, in fact, when this is public information because it involves the distributors of Airtel. When we're moving from Zain to Airtel, the distributors in Zain, and some of you are here, we're allowed to write a post-dated check that they'll pay in a week's time, or they write a check, it clears in 4 days' time, that they would get the scratch cards and go and sell. Some checks would bounce and all these things. When Airtel came, they said, "Do not do this. It's going to be cash. Give us cash, whether it's 200 million, 100 million, 50 million, give us cash." Then you take the airtime and scratch cards and you go. So that change meant that many distributors who used to write post-dated checks and all that can now no longer buy the volume of scratch cards they would buy, which means sales went down a lot in all the 18 countries in Africa where Zain, now Airtel, was operating. Now, after 2-3 months, Airtel Malawi improved, went back to the old performance, because SKC, who was the MD then, thought of something very smart. He said, "Okay, let's comply that we should only get cash, but we also know that the distributors don't have cash. So what we do is, let's get somebody who has a big capacity. He should come to us. He'll buy cash because there's a lot of cash, and then the distributors will be buying from him. They will sort each other, whether they through post-dated check and 1 week, 2 weeks, and the Caterpillar and the Village Bank, what many go as bank." So by putting that, Ernest Chindima, good to see you here. When I was president of the engineers in Malawi, she was our CEO for the office. So good to see that you're here. And then, so he outsourced that problem by putting this middleman, who then could deal with these post-dated checks, the delayed payments and all. But to us, as Airtel was paying cash, then sales went back on. So this is a good example where, when there is a problem as a leader, you want to think maybe outside the box or differently. And you find that, like, this solution, it looks, when you hear it, it looks very simple. But before you hear it, it's like, now it's impossible. Actually, many of us, when we have a problem, we give up quickly. If you just think a little more, or contact some people who have been there, then you will do it. You will break, you will solve the problem. So as a top leader, you want to think strategically. And then before, you want to talk like a leader. You want to walk like a leader, behave like a leader, so that people can say, "No, there is a leader." Then the leadership will come to you. So this is how you rise to the top of leadership. Now, how actually, so that's how you prepare yourself to become a leader. But now, how do you take the steps you take now to become a leader? One of them is so Shakena, you're right, humbleness and the humility and leadership were born twin brothers. So yeah, humility and leadership are twins. They always move together. Thank you very much for that. So number one is through volunteering. I think the best way to become a leader, if you've never been a leader, if you've never been a leader or rarely are you a leader, first step is just volunteer. And I have 2 personal examples to give here. The first one is I remember when I was in Blanca, 2009 to 2013, I was member of the Mpakati, Waku Namiwawa, and the Mpakati was very able to do well on Paper Sunday, but we were not doing that well, and we wanted to do better. People had been discussing for a long time. People were, complaining that we were not giving as much as we should give. We can do better. And people kept, talking. But I thought we needed now to take action. So I was new there. I was, I think, 1 or 2 years old in the Mpakati. Then I volunteered. At that time, Obama had just become president in 2008, and this was 2010 or so. And we know Obama used the door-to-door campaign. It became a very innovative way of mobilizing, community organizing, and all this. So I thought, because that time I used to experiment to learn a lot of theories in practice of leadership and other things and influencing. So I thought I could volunteer to help mobilize more Paper Sunday giving from members by going door to door. So when we would have paper Sunday, I'll take leave one day from office. And I'd go to my office, kumayumba, ama members am pakati watu wa St. Clara. I would call them, ndibwera kongo nzati ngandrama, muli kuti ndi office ndibwera kongo. Muli kunyumba, kubwera kongo. I did that. And you know what? Our Mpakat used to collect that time in 2011, 12. We used to collect 10, 11. We used to collect, I think, 250,000, 260,000. That time when I did this door-to-door campaign, we collected 600,000, more than double. And we got all the awards, the highest money for Mpakati, the most improved. Those have beat their target by the largest one. A day before I even said, let's go to Galanda's resources. So when I volunteered that, with time, I became a leader with time, because people, I just volunteered. There was a problem, I solved it, I volunteered, and then I became a leader with time. So volunteering, makes you to become a leader. Even in area 10 where I live now, in 2019, just after the elections, there was a lot of robberies in area 10 from nowhere. And people again were just talking of these robberies, Monday, they attacked Wednesday, what. So after some time, I thought we can take action. And I volunteered. I asked, Mrs. Ulemeka, the gardens there, I said, could you allow us to have a community meeting? They said, yes. I called them, Fumu, would you please come? He said, yes. And they gave us permission. I said, can you? He said, I'll bring a police, I'll bring a kusite. Then I wrote the farm. I said, of this problem, I've volunteered to be a convener. I found the venue. I'm from Agubera, a police Agubera, Agubera. Let's meet. Nearly 100 people, 10 per day. And immediately we organized ourselves. We did the neighborhood watch. We engaged with police. That was Sunday. By Wednesday, the neighborhood watch was in operation. Police patrol vehicles was in motion. We collected the money, bought more fuel, gave air time bundles for police and what. Within a week, 2 weeks, we shut down all that robberies. We stayed 1 year without attacks. Later on, they came a few here and there. And that's how I became chairman of Area 10 until now. So when you volunteer, you become a leader. Now, volunteer is not enough. You must volunteer and then deliver. You must volunteer and deliver and live with people and be humble and all these things. And then you must be trusted. People will not make you a leader if they can't trust you. This is just straightforward. So if you want to be a leader, you must be somebody who can be trusted. You must be somebody who is dependable. And we already talked about communication. So you want to be good at communication. So you can influence people, you can guide people, you can coach them better. And then we have the people skills, If you don't talk nice to people, you talk down to people, you can't become a leader. So if you want to become a leader, these are the things you do. And then leadership means that you need to be visionary, because you want to tell people where you want them to go. So are you somebody who is visionary? It means you need to be in the present now. You're living now while you are looking into the future by learning from the past. So you're managing 3 time zones. You are in the present, you are learning from the past, and you're looking into the future with hope. They say, be factual about the past, because you want to draw the lessons from the past. And then you are emotional about the future, because you want to be hopeful that the future will be bright, you will deliver, you will do very well in the future. Elton, we are here, volunteers, all right, thank you. Yeah. So you want to be a leader, Elton, volunteer, you'll be a leader. And then number 4, rally followers around you, your vision. You want the followers to follow you. But to do that, they must know what's in it for me. This one is very important. People will follow you because they see what is in it for them. What will they benefit? How will they become better by working with you? So it could be that they're learning from you. It could be that you improve things, situation around them. So you want to address everybody. Kuti aliyense pezepo phindu musogolero wanu. And that's it makes you really a good leader. Now let's look at roles and responsibilities. If you're a good leader, you need to assign very clear roles and responsibility. Everybody is clear what they are doing. Everybody, and there's no duplication. John is doing this, Jen is doing that, Mary is doing this, and Anne is doing that. So you clearly demarcate, you tell them who is doing what, and you engage people so that they can be good at what they're doing. a good example is in football. I like football where I draw a lot of lessons as an observer. So you find that a team is struggling, say in the Premier League, then they fire the coach. New coach comes in. He does not bring in new players. All he does with the same squad, he just changes the guy who is the midfielder. He makes him a striker. One striker, he rests him, and the one defender becomes a midfielder. And then with the same team, he found that now he's beginning to win. What happened? He's changed the roles and responsibilities. Maybe the other one had the 3 strikers and the 5 midfielders. This guy is saying, you know, I have 4 midfielders and 4 strikers. Or you have 6 midfielders and only 2 strikers. So how are you apportioning the roles and responsibility? Innocent Harinda, the key distinction between a leader and manager is that a leader creates we'll share the soft copy. George Campbell would definitely do that. So are you assigning clearly the roles and responsibilities like football coaches do, who do well? And then you want to align the vision where you want to go as a group, as a team. All the roles and responsibilities must be supporting the vision where you want to go. So you want maybe to double the revenues, or you want, like in our case, we wanted to double the paper Sunday collections. Then who does what? We were a team, although I mentioned my one, yes, I was leading a team of volunteers. Iweyo, uzilandia drama, Iweyo, uzilema ma records, Otigawane, ma family report wente, inendi, pita ugundi ugu, imu pita ugundi ugu, nyumba hizi. Ndio magawana. Clearly supporting the overall vision. So when they're apportioning roles and responsibilities, they should be talking to the overall vision. Everyone should feel important. This is very important. Everyone should feel important that they're doing a good job. I gave the example of Mourinho, that he makes every player feel that they are good. Municho Harawa, good to see you, sir, from Pole, the leader 6 mutual benefit and growth for the whole team. Well done. Thank you. Mourinho example is very good here, where he makes everyone feel important. And I've given an example of Professor David Edwards. He was my supervisor for my postgraduate studies. And in his lab, he used to make everybody important by apportioning different things. In the early days, I loved to use a certain computer system called MATLAB. I just had some interest in it. I was still learning. And then I found that after 2 weeks, somebody comes to me from the same lab where I was. He says, Professor David Edwards says, you know, on the MATLAB, you are the expert. I wasn't really the expert. I had some interest. I was knowing a little bit. But when I was told I should teach this one, and that I'm the expert, what made me the professor, it made me now to know this a lot more. And this technique, I've used it as a leader myself. When I was IT director in Airtel, I kept, when I knew that we need somebody to master maybe how to fix issues to deal with BlackBerry, I would mention and say, Kevin is very good at BlackBerries. Even within 2 weeks, he really mastered BlackBerry. So it's a technique you can go out there and use. When you see somebody a bit of interest, call them expert, tell them that they're good at that. And it's just the human support that people don't want to support somebody who has trusted them. You need to have trusted them. So the Bwana Jack, good to see my brother from Harare. Hello, good to see you here, Jack. So that's what the leader does. Everybody is important. And there is a recent example here, my old school, St. Patrick's in Ruby. Last year they did very well. They were the top school in the whole region of the North, and they were top 10 in the at Form 4 exams. And I met the rector there, means the headmaster. I said, so how did you do? He explained to me how he delivered those results to make the school top 10 in the country, and top in his region. And then I said, I heard that the bishop gave you money for the awards. How did you do? It's very interesting. He said the money that he was given by the bishop to reward the staff, he took half the money and gave it to the teachers on their performance, who produced more, etc. And then the other for the money, he gave it to all the staff, the teaching and support staff. Even a guard got something. Even a gardener got something. So I'm joking to say, it means Chakachino, azipita kukadzutsa nyamata follow muziwerenga tizandire ndalama tizandire mpoto. That's the job. But you can see the sense. Even the gardeners, they will be wanting students to do well. So everyone will contribute towards the. You can imagine next they will be because now they have seen the beauty of doing well collectively from God, cook, gardener, teacher, everyone has benefited. Remember, we are talking earlier on of what's in it for me. So the guy also knows that I need to have a school that is clean so the students can study more and do very well. Precious, so inspiring, and I'm enjoying this presentation. So thank you. I've got that. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your feedback. So you know, now let's look at the environmental scan. As a leader, you want to scan the environment around you. Ingati muri kumpiko muzeni mipingo amanesa bwanji pano zinthu zikukhala zikupita kuti. You want to be sensing beyond where you are. You are a leader at your company. Look at my company ngati anu akupanga chani masiku ano. You know, otherwise it's too much. So you want to be scanning around you. Kumaona ndithi kuti zinthu zikukhala bwanji zikuyenda bwanji masiku ano. Then you be dynamic. Then you be doing very well. So, Andrews, can you please talk about how a junior employee can manage a bad leader that you report to? Oh, that's a good question. How can we manage a bad leader? I'll keep that on Ravi. So at the end, we'll talk about how to manage a bad leader. I've had those questions sometimes. So we'll talk about that in the question and answer. But others can also be doing that question from Ravi. So the environment around you, but you're looking at what can go wrong. You have the opportunities that take advantage of as a leader, and you know you want to take what can go wrong here. You must anticipate as a leader. You must always be having your tabs on, checking around you. What is the doing? What you want to know this. Now let's look at the issues. Is it global? Are we all having issues? Is it from our side or side? So please check that if that is look at managerial courage. It is what is right. This involves when it's challenging. Even when it's challenging, you want to stand for what's right. You want to encourage other people to also voice their ideas. They must come in also to deal with their concerns. But you know, you want to act on feedback. You want to be authentic. You are somebody who's approachable. You know the real issues. You are facing those issues. They are open with others. You give them feedback, but without without intimidating them. It's a kind of sound network issues. I think we have network issues. So I think looking into this, looking at the network issues. Right. Okay. So you deal with the issues head on. You deal with people problems, and you do with even the issues which are irritating. You want to deal with them as well. Let's look at the building a team. You want to build a team. You want to build the competences. The other point is the doing the skills audit. What skills do you have? What gaps are there? Then, if you know the gap, you cannot build the skills to fill gaps that you have. And you do sending people to training, you bring somebody people, and you coach people, and you inspire members, and in the process, you're building a high performance team. But also, you have the depth of skills. Some people, we talked already about the professor who is somebody as an expert. So you bring the depth, also the director that you cover all the skills that you need in the team. And now I'll move on to All right, but the team is the issue. Have your patience. You keep giving us feedback whether it's getting better or not. Sound connection. So what I'll pause for 2 minutes. Let's break. Yeah, take a break. Guys, if I can hear you. Yeah, testing. Let us know. The team is on this. Yeah, the team is working on this. One, two, testing is better now. Testing. Can you hear now? Hello, we are testing now. Revolution has tried something. Can you hear us? Please give us feedback if you can hear us now. Can you hear us? Is it better? Yeah, it's good, yeah? Good. All right. So that's good. Thanks, Arbat and others. Felix, thank you. So kudos to Revelation and the Innocent and Beaton for fixing this. It happens. So the young men are leaders. So yeah, we're talking about mechanics of building a high performance team. You want the team to be, you want to have participative leadership. What this means is that everyone is participating. You create an environment where everybody is free to contribute. Everybody feels at home in your team, in your group, in your company, at the church, where you lead. Everybody can participate. You create an environment where everybody can participate. This is very important. There are places where people say, abana mene amapangira sitingangule chili chonse amadziwa zonse ndiwo. You don't want that. You want to create. In fact, in the future, we'll do a talk on chairing meetings. You know, I led this about 7 years ago, that there are people who have good ideas in meetings, but they don't say it unless you ask them. We'll talk about this another time. But as a leader, there's some people you need to prompt. Ambaye mkona bwanji ama zatusa chimfundo chandwi. But if you didn't ask them, you wouldn't have known about it. If you want to have a high performance team, you also want to be an effective decision maker. You want the team to be making very good decisions together. On every point you discuss, a decision is made. Have you attended meetings where you discuss things but there are no clear decisions? You don't want that. You want to be a leader where decisions are made, actions are taken. You are focused on results. It means fundo ili but malida zena ama opa nditu kupanga decision basi mango zungulira kumalisa kuona kuti apa tiyenera kunena kuti tipite tikakumanenda bwana DC or apa tiyenera kuti basi tipite kusidya kuja tikalime limodzi ngati mudzi. But also you want to have open and clear communication. Zinthu zikhala clear kwa aliyense akuziwa zimene mukupanga kumene mukupita. What are you doing? Then value diversity. Do you value that people are different? Ena amapanga zinthu mwansanga, ena amafuna kuti zinthu amvese kawiri katatu. People, we all are different. So as a leader, you want to manage that diversity. Allow that people are different. Mutual trust. People trust each other. You don't want to go pali message pali antu majedana. You don't want that. Some leaders sometimes they are in the front with Jeda. You don't want to do that. You want people to have mutual trust. It's your job to ensure that the people trust each other. It's your responsibility as a leader to ensure that teams work together. Innocent, Maperi, nice presentation, learning a great deal. You put into practice the ideas, volunteering, assigning roles, and making everyone know their contribution. Thank you very much. So yeah, you want diversity, you want to mutual trust. There's a question there. What's the difference between political and business leadership? We'll come to that during the question time. Business versus political leadership. Let me take note of that. So you want to define roles and responsibility to build a good team. We mentioned that already. You want coordinative relationship. Coordinative relationship means that we all depend on each other. Our workshop, they need the support of Aku stores. Aku stores, they need support procurement. Our procurement, they need support from finance. So each team depends on the other. A good leader makes sure that this chain works. So finance supports procurement. Procurement supports our stores. Our stores support our workshop. Our workshop support our sales, our customer management or customer experience. We depend on each other. A leader makes sure that this chain works very well. Kandi kumpingo achipembedzo amafunika support chitandizo cha a finance. A finance amafunika chitandizo cha a fundraising. So as a leader, you want to make sure that these systems support each other. And you want to create a positive atmosphere where everybody feels at home. You want a place where people are happy to work together. This is your role as a leader. Now, when you do build a high performance team, what are the benefits? Number one, everyone becomes a winner. And we want to win. I put an example of Microsoft. 10 years ago, when they do look at who are the richest people in the world, most of them were Americans at time, and even this time. You'd find the number one is Bill Gates, obviously. But out of the top 10, there were 3-4 people, other people from the same Microsoft. So it means they were a high performance team. Because can you imagine, out of the top 10 billionaires in the world at that time, 3 or 4 of them came from the same company. It means Bill Gates was a great leader. Everyone became a winner. Just like I put there the Malawi Queens, our netball team, they win together, they all become winners. So as a high performance team, the benefit that you all win. And then you optimize your skills. You optimize your skills, things become easier, you all get the rewards. And then I want to say that if you want to perform well, people need to be happy. A research was done by my friend in Oxford called Jessica Price Jones. She found out that the more happy people are, the more productive they are. For example, it is known that in Germany, the measure of happiness is only 37%. And as such, productivity is only 47%. If you go to Netherlands, happiness is 10 percentage points better at 57% versus 37% in Germany. And because of that, even productivity is about 20 points better at 6% versus 47% in Germany. And it is shown that the happiest staff are 6 times better energized. They tend to stay twice longer. They even don't take much leave. They are twice as productive. So you want to make your people happy. And then finally, how do you eat an elephant? As a leader, you want to break big work into small chunks. Don't focus on the size or the bigness of things. Frank, thank you, Matthew. Very important presentation. Such presentation carry a cost for you to benefit. Thank you very much for that feedback. So you eat a piece at a time. You enjoy as you're eating. You're not looking at that it's too big. And then when you finish a leg, you celebrate the milestones. You want to be having the positive energy that yes, we're getting there. And then mind your business. People always say something, but you want to eat the elephant. They'll talk, they make noise and what, but you focus on your game. Just as when you're building a house, you don't need to have everything to start. You start small. You do the foundation first. Then maybe you wait. You celebrate. Oh, now foundation is done. You go to window level. You're happy, and you're going like that. So that's the end. And then we'll have 6-7 minutes of question and answer. We'll end early because we don't want to be affected with the network again. So if there's any question, please put on the chat. Where do our leaders go wrong in the country? Great work, my hope. So I'll answer those 2 questions which came. One was how do you manage a bad leader? Oh yeah, what a good question. Others can also be answering in the chat box there. I've had bad leaders. The first thing that I see is when you have a bad leader, sometimes they're bad to everybody or bad to you. The first medicine for a bad leader is do more, do better. It just means that you have to work harder and longer, because you see what? In the end, performance, impresses. When I have bad leaders, Mbalianga, I make sure that I do very well. When you do very well, even the bad leader will not find any fault. I remember in one of the companies where I was leading systems and what, and the CEO was being mean to me and what, I had to tell my team that guys now have to make sure the systems are almost always 100% uptime. We did that, and then he was failing to find problems, but it meant, of course, I was sleeping very few hours. I was working too hard. So that's one. Two is when he was still continuing to do that. Miriam Pachalo Kachari, how from Rwanda, Amakuru, Marakoze Shani, nice, good to see you, my friend from Pole, that you're here. So you want to impress the leader, but also there may be time you need to engage. I did engage this person. I went and said,